All right, so on Friday, I pitched the idea of using an Alexa to do something with the Bible. I had no idea what we were going to do with it. I pitched an idea. I thought it was going to be trivial to create possibly several skills over the course of the weekend. And boy, can our team whole tell you, we were wrong. So when we set out to do, we decided to, actually a pretty complicated one, of helping you memorize Scripture so that we can grow in our walk and knowledge with God. And so I've thrown the scripture up here as I've hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you, Psalms 119:11. You know, as this next generation of millennials grows up, we want to enable them technical ways to help them learn the Bible. So as we set out to do this, we're thinking, we'll just have it, you repeat the whole verse, and it'll say if it's right or wrong. But the reality is, voice analysis as it stands today is difficult. On the Alexa platform, you are limited to 140 characters of text from a user at a time that it will analyze. And there is really no good built-in process for comparing homonyms. So no, here, are, bye, whether, there, two. Which one is it really, if I'm trying to compare what you said to the original text? So here's what we ended up doing, is we ended up splitting out the verse. So we started to say, Alexa in this case would say, I have, you fill in the blank, your word, fill in the blank, my heart, fill in the blank, I might, fill in the blank, sin against, fill in the blank. And Alexa analyzes that and sees if you're correct. So to do this, our tech stack is we use the Alexa Skills Kit for Node running on AWS Lambda. We had to use Apache Spark because we needed to prime the natural language processing engine of Alexa with the possibilities of all the words of the Bible. So we took the entire Bible and ran it through Spark to come up with all of the words of the Bible and loaded that into Amazon's Alexa platform so their NLP process could pick up the words that we might say out of the Bible. We use AWS DynamoDB to persist our study session in between phrases because each Lambda invocation is a brand new function. So every time I give it an answer, I need to reload the state, figure out where you are in the verse, see if you got the word right, then say the next two words, save state, go along. We use the Lifeway API for the Christian Standard Bible that Kevin mentioned on Friday. So using the skill, you ask Alexa, ask scripture memory to study John verse 3:16, etc. And we had to build a voice user interface to all the possibilities of things you might say. So there's actually over 100 different possibilities we found of the way you might ask Alexa to read you a verse. So let me get a bit demo here. Alexa, ask scripture memory to read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
Reading Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Alexa, ask scripture memory to study Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
In the
Beginning.
Try again.
Beginning.
God created
The.
heavens and.
The.
Try again.
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 Sometimes it gets a little picky. So as we played with this, it'll eventually say, you got it, success, try and keep on going. So where we want to take this is we want to keep going. We want to persist the verses you're trying to learn so that you can study over and over again without restating the verse. And settings for how many words you should say versus how many it should say, and support more Bible translations. And we ultimately want to finish this and deliver it to the Alexa store. We're right on that last 10% of functionality missing to actually submit it.
We have a 2-minute Q&A session for you guys to think about. There are 2 minutes to give questions. Yes, in the back.
If Alexa ran into the error and said try again, would you reset?
Yeah, what we really wanted to do was give you 2 tries. If you didn't get it, have it just go ahead and say the word and keep going. Because ultimately, with the job to be done of scripture memory, it's not as ultimately important that I got it right as I'm working through the verse and trying to memorize it.
I guess for consumers, could a consumer be told in like a manual to reset Alexa so that
Yeah, there's an awful lot of options you have with Alexa, like when you say help or whatever, and those are contextual. Those are like that last 10-20% of delivering something. Go ahead.
Also, I was just kind of curious, is it, without knowing anything about how Alexa would attempt to do this, but is there a way to kind of figure out what words might be more significant in the verse?
Yeah, well, yeah, we could do that. Also on the homonym problem, Alexa can kind of provide contextual awareness from what you said, but if we're only giving it one word, it doesn't really know which homonym to use. But if I would have said 4 words together, it may have actually figured out the correct spelling of the word that I intended to use.
So could you have it read you the entire verse and then you read it back to it and it check that?
Not because the 140 character limit, I can only say up to 140 characters and it'll just stop recording and won't try to analyze it.
Okay. Last question.
Do you know at all if Amazon is like trying to increase that 140 limit? Or
We don't.
if you found anything that limited?
No, most of our weekend was just fighting with limitations of Alexa and what we were trying to do. None of us knew anything about Alexa when we started. All right.